a lot of Americans feel that that Jeffrey Epstein's victims never got justice. Does the president care about these victims? Do you think he can does he want to deliver more justice for them, and is he willing to meet with them?
The president cares about victims of all crimes.
Gorster, I'm calling you on the link. How come this story is pulled?
Edison, it's pulled.
And that's why Republicans in the Trump Department of Justice have done more in terms of transparency when it comes to the Epstein case than any prior administration.
This is also a spiritual battle that I see, and these people are the devil.
You don't really want to get into a piss and match.
Goodbye, Democrats, and hello to the golden age of America.
He has reversed those catastrophes and brought America into the new golden age.
This is the golden age of the American economy.
That can be fatal in some viewers.
And when most Americans hear foreign firms are building plants in the United States, they think
Latino. I want to talk about the Hyundai factory and how the whole world is missing the point.
Is Max Headroom on big-time television, and what I want to know is, don't Eskimos ever get bored with their weather forecast?
I want to talk to you about this violence being pushed by the Democrat Party, and now respect for law and order and the men and women who put their lives on the line for very little money. First they were trashing local police, now they're trashing ICE. They're trying to use prosecutors as defense lawyers. They've got radical left-wing judges that don't uphold the law. Isn't this the destruction of a society? Isn't this what the Democrat Party really stands for now?
And the hatred in law enforcement. If you look at the scenarios in which they decide to hate law enforcement on, these are justifiable shootings 90+% of the time. And I think it's just shameful that we have such a good thing going and they are methodically trying to destroy it every single day with their rhetoric, with their actions, killing people, and all of the above. So,
hey, looking boy, what you say, looking boy?
In some subjects, it causes a short circuit. Some particularly slothful, perpetual viewers literally explode. Simple as that.
In the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate, yet equal groups. The police who investigate crime and the Republicans who tell us who did it.
President Trump said that his efforts to fight crime in Washington, D.C. have been effective, and families can now, quote, walk right down the middle of the street. Wow. He managed to get rid of the crime and the cars?
Immigration raid at the plant in Georgia on Friday. The president said over the weekend that he's open to some kind of changes in perhaps rules or visa rules or law that would prevent something like that happening in the future for skilled workers to train American workers.
That's right.
Can you confirm that and that the administration supports those changes, and what exactly would that look like?
The president said it himself in a statement that he put out on Sunday night.
The quote, without the United States, everything in the world would die. I don't know about that. I think you're thinking about the sun.
Where he is very grateful for foreign companies from around the world and the investments that they are making right here in the United States of America.
You know, it's really important. It really helps if you like this and share the video. It's a really big thing, apparently. I don't really do any of this stuff properly, but I would like to send out more videos.
He understands that these companies want to bring their highly skilled and trained workers with them, especially when they're creating very niche products like chips, or in this case in Georgia, like batteries.
The legend of a pale wraith who haunts the soul of an entire nation. A vampiric fiend with an insatiable urge to suck.
America is for Americans and Americans only.
This has nothing to do with immigration.
New rules for H-1B visas, including that most would now require a $100,000 fee, made headlines. But few pointed out that, as usual, it played fast and loose with the rules that govern the process, which require a prior period of public notice and comment, invoking national security to levy the fee. The Trump administration has been following this pattern from the start. One of its early actions was to fire more than a dozen inspectors general, disregarding the law that required specific reasons for each one's firing and public notice.
But the president also expects these foreign companies to hire American workers, and for these foreign workers and American workers to work together to train and to teach one another. And so he expects these foreign companies to hire American labor. We want Americans to have these jobs. Americans need these jobs. But he also understands the need for these companies to bring over their workers who already have these skills. And I know that the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Commerce are working on this matter together. I would defer you to them for any further action on this front.
It has nothing to do with ICE messing up.
Hyundai.
The raid in Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, is the administration in touch with the Korean government right now? What's sort of the update there? And then also, I mean, how much is the administration doing to work with South Korea on those permits, and then for other companies?
I appreciate the question, but I'm not in the loop on that case. Not sex. I can just tell you, I'm not in the loop on that one. No, I'm border czar. I'm doing a lot. I'm not familiar with that case, but I will say this. I said from day one,
Oscar,
we're going to increase worksite enforcement operations. It's a crime to enter this country legally, and it's also a crime to knowingly hire an illegal alien.
if that hasn't got Oscar written all over it, I'll eat my invitation to the award ceremony.
The administration seems to be ignoring and flouting laws and rules purposefully so as to erode the checks on its authority. It could have pushed Congress to pass legislation raising tariffs to whatever level Trump wanted. The Republican majorities there have denied him practically nothing. Similarly, it could have asked Congress to shut down USAID, since foreign aid has rarely been very popular.
And all those people out there saying, why would he do this? This hurts his own jobs. You're missing the point.
Instead, President Trump took unilateral executive action. The administration is deliberately refusing to play by the rules in ways that look to most observers like usurpations of authority and accumulation of power. Some are deeply troubled by this, others brush it off. But the question I want to ask is why? Why has America's vaunted system of checks and balances proved so weak?
To the point on Hyundai, so is the Korea trade deal in jeopardy now?
Missing the point.
Well, the Koreans didn't sign when the president was in, right? The president came in, you remember that? He came to the White House. Notice how we didn't talk about trade? Because he didn't sign the piece of paper. I mean, the devil is in the details always. Well, I think they saw the Japanese now, so there's no flexibility, right? The Japanese signed the contract. The Koreans either accept that deal or pay the tariffs. Black and white. Pay the tariffs or accept the deal.
But has the immigration raid led to more tension there about?
I think you're going to see President Trump go out and address that. He knows that to build these, we need leadership of people who've built them before.
Most of them without proper work authorization. But rather than being contrite and apologetic that one of its largest companies and its associated battery-making plant violated U.S. immigration rules, the South Korean government expressed its outrage.
Among the Western democracies, America today stands out. Amid the widespread rise of populism, discontent with various establishments, and angry political rhetoric, the U.S. appears to have moved further than any other down the path of illiberal democracy, where constitutionalism and the rule of law are being steadily undermined. Hungary is the obvious other example, but Hungary is a very young and fragile democracy, scarred by decades of communism. The United States is the oldest constitutional republic in the world. And yet Sweden's V-Dem Institute has described the erosion of American democracy as unprecedented in scale.
Yeah. South Korean foreign minister said how concerned he was that their workers would be treated this way.
Under aftermath after the fact.
Yeah, I bet you do.
How could I not blow?
Yeah, you too. Just chatting back there.
And why are the Democrats all of a sudden caring about this? It's because they are desperately trying to concoct a hoax to smear the President of the United States. Unfortunately, the Democrats are using victims as political pawns to try to smear and to push a hoax against.
President Trump is planning to deploy the National Guard on Friday to Chicago, and he's already placed an order. He thinks money buys his firm right to work here regardless of what our laws say.
Any one of the administration's actions might have in a previous era provoked public outcry. But today we routinely see regulatory threats and lawsuits against media companies, threats to deny law firms government business or access to federal buildings, the use of the Justice Department to target political opponents, and the use of military forces within the United States.
We have seen this time and time again. Ro Khanna and all of these other Democrats' leadership, we have done more than any president to protect crime, especially disgusting, heinous sexual crimes of illegal aliens who are perpetrating these crimes against innocent victims in our country right now today, and that remains a top priority for this administration.
Does the president, will he meet with the victims?
On the Doha strikes, did the president speak with...
A nutless monkey could do your job.
This isn't about his jobs. This is one of the many factories being built because of Joe Biden and bills that the Democrats passed and no Republican voted for them.
So we're going to have a couple hundred National Guard members standing around one building. And that's what it's going to end up being. Or you'll have scenes like we had from Chicago. I'm sure you guys saw a delivery guy went by ICE officers that were standing there wearing masks just in the middle of the day.
What the
ICE
fuck?
kind of, fall day in Chicago. And I think he yelled F Trump at them. And then you see them chasing him down the street and he gets away. And that's what a lot of people think is going on here, that it is unnecessary. And that doesn't mean that there isn't a way to work together maybe on the south side of Chicago. But in Oregon, I trust the AG there who says we have enough people to deal with this. And they have been dealing with it for several months. President Trump and the administration want to normalize militarized cities. They've talked about it. It doesn't bother them. It doesn't bother Jesse. He would, if we walked outside there, he wouldn't be upset if he saw a militarized New York City.
Kathy Hochul put the guard in the subway, and you didn't have a problem with that,
Kathy
did you?
Hochul is in charge of New York State. Donald Trump is not in charge of Oregon or in charge of Illinois, but he doesn't seem to understand that.
Hey, I'm not a U.S. citizen. Come on, Joel. Yes. Come on, yes.
Outside a facility in Portland, Oregon over the weekend as President Trump vows to use, quote, full force if necessary, sending in 200 members of the National Guard to help quell that violence. And that ICE facility in question has been the scene of nightly protests for several months, and that's plagued local residents there. However, Oregon doesn't want the help. The state attorney general filed a federal lawsuit to block the Guard.
The latest defense strategy is named after a film.
War again. How did we arrive at this dark day? I don't know.
You know, I've sat here for, what, 2.5 hours and heard members that serve in Congress quote statistics. Quote statistics. Crime statistics down in Charlotte. How does that help the victims that are up here? And you criticize Trump and quote statistics? Are you kidding me?
The Statue of Liberty says, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free. It doesn't say anything about speaking English or being able to be a computer programmer. Aren't you trying to change what it means to be an immigrant coming into this country? If you're telling them you have to speak English, can't people learn how to speak English when they get here?
I don't want to get off into a whole thing about history here, but the Statue of Liberty is a symbol of liberty enlightening the world. It's a symbol of American liberty lighting the world. The poem that you're referring to that was added later is not actually part of the original Statue of Liberty.
Who was it said that observing the United States is like watching an epic movie? Oscar Wilde?
Woody Allen?
National Park revisionism.
No, what I'm asking you is...
The Statue of Liberty
Jim,
has always been
let me ask you a question.
of hope to the world for people to send
do you believe,
people to this country, and they're not always going to speak English, Stephen.
Jim,
they're not
do you
always
believe,
going to be highly skilled. They're not always going to be...
Jim, I appreciate your speech.
I am directing Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to provide all necessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland.
By now, you surely know of the plague wrought by the bald monstrosity.
Yes, history will never forget the Battle of Portland, when we freed the citizens from the tyranny of overpriced donut shops and white ladies with dreadlocks named Raindrop.
I don't want to be unfair. I'm just lovable old Mac.
And Maybelline Terminator Lindsay Halligan.
To everyone else, so what makes you different from others?
Mass deportations.
Chaos and confusion. People detained and families separated.
A toddler and U.S. citizen deported.
Kids in cages.
A Muslim ban.
This is how democracy dies.
When did you first learn that
Epstein case
caused people to spontaneously explode? One load of bollocks.
Parrots are only one rung above politicians, though. You always know when they're lying. Their lips move.
Apprehended at the Hyundai Mega plant construction site yesterday near Savannah. And I was the one that reported the information that I had to ICE. But it goes beyond just someone working illegally. Let me explain to you. These people are working for slave wages. Some are not getting paid. Some are being trafficked. They send money home to their country. They give money to their handler. They have hardly anything left. They live in homes, 5 families deep, have no quality of life. It's modern day slavery. So if you think that ICE is just going in and ripping people out of their jobs, these hardworking people that want a better life, well, guess what? Politicians have really screwed these people, because when they came here, they thought they were, hey, the border's open, we're coming in, we're going to get the 5-star treatment, and we can go to the big Walmart, and we can live in a 5-star hotel, and that's just not how it is. It's very bad.
Yeah. A delicious quiche at the farmer's market.
4 protesters. 4 protesters. In fact, for most of the day, the only protester was one man in a chicken costume. It's chaos. There are reports that the chicken crossed the road several times. And authorities are still asking why.
Well, wait a minute. Am I watching things on television that are different than what's happening?
Yes.
I worry we pushed you too far.
Actors have a point where overnoting can almost hurt the performance.
Listen, she'll be back and she'll be great.
What?
She'll be back and she'll be great. If there's 2 things I know, it's women and exactly what's going to happen in the future.
Breaking now. President Donald announced a historic new healthcare system. The launch of America's first medbed hospitals and a national medbed card for every citizen.
Every American will soon receive their own medbed card. With it, you'll have guaranteed access to our new hospitals led by the top doctors in the nation.
I don't know what words to use.
Do you understand how crazy that is? Is this working? It really helps.
And I think President Trump's is quite interesting and important.
Posted like, make sure this doesn't happen?
Yeah,
or do you have a lot of people being paid under the table?
Great. Now where am I going to masturbate, said one man.
He was a strange dude. I remember he would take a bottle of glue, and then he would pour the glue on his arm, let it dry, peel it off, and then eat it.
One had the taste for paste.
The best, I tell you, it was the best debate we had. He said, build back bongo. And then I was a snake charmed by his ancient rhythm.
This factory was already built when Donald Trump took office. They're setting it up for production, for Americans to have those jobs.
Welcome to the Rush Limbaugh program.
He began studying the dark teachings of his era's most demonic figures.
About the medbed, what say we take that down and we put that in your special top secret file along with your idea for a hamburger woman hybrid that can't get pregnant.
Pick up my trash.
Special sauce.
And we have plenty of janitors who are paid to do it for us.
By stepping out of the sunlight to run for office, Miller learned he was perhaps more suited to lurking in the shadows.
To manufacture EVs, it was a $7.6 billion investment. Good stuff. Employs about 1,200 people. And it partnered at the time with this group called LG Energy Solution to build this adjacent battery plant. Obviously, without the battery, the car doesn't work. and that's scheduled to open.
The tiki torch was passed to a new generation. With the notoriety he had achieved, Grossferatu insinuated himself into the entourage of some of the most repellent figures in America's hellmouth.
These are just people being paid by South Korea to come here and set up the factory and train Americans how to do it.
Some laud these moves as necessary acts of executive authority, but almost no one would disagree that the breadth and number of these actions are unprecedented, certainly in the half-century since Watergate.
Economic advisors called projectionists.
President Trump posted a video yesterday on Truth Social that appears to show a U.S. military strike on a boat carrying drugs in the Caribbean, a move that was very pleasing to Donald Trump and very upsetting to Donald Trump.
Cocologists. People prefer the new, refreshing taste of Coke.
Thanks, Caroline. Following up on Ed, now that we have these revised jobs numbers, is the president concerned at all that price spikes, stemming from his tariffs through the end of the year might actually be driving the country towards a depression or a recession? What I'm asking is he committed to these policies now that we know how faulty the jobs data was?
The president is committed to his policies because his policies are working, Christian.
Well, I'm going to take that as a no comment. So, nitty-gritty time.
And there have been a lot of people fear-mongering about inflation in this room, but it just has not come to fruition.
Come at me, bro! No, it's here.
So I was watching the announcement, like everybody else, live on television. And as soon as I saw it, I said, I have to join this campaign.
They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. We have money coming in that we've never even thought about at numbers that nobody's ever seen before.
Or bad.
But when you burn the American flag, it incites a rapist at levels that we've never seen before.
It's always unprecedented when the president is telling the story.
What I'm talking about, and you're not.
Point is, these are jobs that Joe Biden got credit for. We cannot have that.
Together we will lead America to new heights of greatness like the world has never seen before.
While it's impossible to know what Trump will say next, he'll probably claim that something is
the likes of which nobody's ever seen before.
An attorney for several of the workers detained say his clients were there on special short-term B-1 visas. Okay, we'll see. Several. The 300 were arrested. Neither the U.S. nor the South Koreans have given us the specifics about these workers.
Foreign nations are now paying hundreds of billions of dollars straight into our treasury, and numbers that nobody's ever seen before. They have crime that's at levels that nobody's ever seen before in Baltimore. They've done a terrible job. You're going to see things happen in the United States that nobody's ever seen before.
Ironically, part of the problem stems from the age of the Constitution, which in many ways is an enduring success. America's political framework actually dates back not even to 1776 or 1789, but further to the structures of government put in place by early English colonial settlers. This system was modern for its age, but that was 300 years ago.
No student should feel targeted as they head to school in the morning, but according to advocates for immigrants here in Brentwood, some have been by ICE. Photos snapped of an unmarked dark vehicle Wednesday with blue lights. 2 officers, one wearing a face covering, standing by another vehicle, which was stopped here along 3rd Avenue, property adjacent to the Brentwood School District. A group called I Slip Forward then posting the photos on Facebook to alert the community on their first day of school.
Quite disgusting. We see that ICE has ramped up deportations and has ramped up specifically its profiling in deportations. Why are they not in other more white communities?
All summer long, there have been reports from ICE trackers in communities of color.
We think we're coming into a place that we're going to be safe at, and just to hear that we're kind of not, I feel like it's kind of
from the same guy who just a couple weeks ago fired the person in charge of figuring out how many people have jobs in this country. Because everybody knows Donald Trump's economy it's on a downward slope. Care about that.
So we're going to look at that whole situation.
Okay. A lot of people were scratching their heads at that one, not quite sure what's going on there. But
today, to give one critical example, many Western democracies have departments of justice and electoral commissions that are independent of the elected government. In America, neither prosecutors nor elections are really insulated from politics or elected politicians. Since Watergate, certain norms have developed around the executive not interfering. But they are just norms, as the Trump administration has shown by breaking them without consequence. Similarly, other democracies have more nonpartisan ways to pick judges and fixed terms for them, unlike America's partisan mechanisms to appoint judges who then sit for life.
Miller became the Bronze Lord's most trusted minion.
Our republic is being destroyed now before our very eyes.
He conjured dark utterances for the new president's speeches.
This American carnage stops right now.
Never, ever in a million years allow my daughter to compete against a biological male.
Never. Unless it was a joke to make fun of how girls are lame, obviously.
But your reaction to what America First means tonight?
Well, I was a little shocked at the reaction of the South Korean government. I thought they wouldn't jump to the gun and would restrain themselves a little bit, after all, but they didn't.
Ironically, the world learned many of these checks and balances, such as the Supreme Court that has the ultimate power of review over laws, from America. But then they fine-tuned them as they were enacted. Stephen Levitsky, one of the foremost scholars of democratic collapse, the co-author of How Democracies Die, says that perhaps the most important reason for the institutional decay is that America has been so successful over the years that it has never seen the need to change. It's a truism in business and life that one rarely learns from success, only from failure. And America has won the Cold War, pioneered the information revolution, and continues to stand atop the world by many material measures.
And it's a larger problem, Laura, that it's very easy to destroy the border and let in 10 to 12 million people and say it's moral to break the law, but it's very hard when you have to find them and you've got to do something with them and deport them, and people say it's amoral.
So we don't see the need to examine our own system, consider its flaws, and improve it. American exceptionalism has blinded us to weaknesses in our constitutional and political system, Levitsky says. Alongside this lack of introspection, Levitsky describes as crucial the failure of leadership. We have no memory of democratic collapse or authoritarian rule, he notes. In places like Poland and Brazil, generations know what it is like to have lost the rule of law and constitutional safeguards. But Republican leaders, business leaders, Supreme Court justices don't seem to think we could actually watch democracy decay and even die.
These are jobs that Joe Biden got credit for. That can't be.
To hold followers in his thrall became the stuff of legend.
We're getting a lot of texts from women. Our audience at primetime believes you're some sort of sexual matador.
Indeed, this 39-year-old man doesn't look a day over 53.
And that's the dilemma that we're having.
She says she met with a woman named Yadi who has leukemia and has been here since February.
She was diagnosed in 2013. She has numbing. She's unable to walk. She has bruises all over her body. She was sobbing, telling me her story.
Ansari is demanding Yadi be able to see an oncologist.
She's coughing up blood. She's vomiting. She says that she is dying. And she's been told over and over again that she would be able to see a specialist, and that has yet to happen.
Arizona's family reported on Yadi's situation in July. An ICE spokesperson told us then Yadi was arrested for attempting to smuggle an illegal alien passenger with fraudulent identification in her vehicle at the border in Nogales. ICE officials say she never told Border Patrol about her cancer diagnosis, and she has seen a medical professional more than a dozen times since she was sent to Eloy.
The accusations against her are egregious, but beyond that, her only ask right now is to see a specialist so she doesn't have to be in debilitating pain each and every day.
The president announced a little bit ago that he's going to nominate economist E.J. Antony from the Heritage Foundation to lead the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Now, this comes after Donald Trump fired the last BLS commissioner earlier this month after the latest data showed that the job growth had been a lot weaker than previously reported. Trump claimed those numbers were, quote, rigged, but offered no proof to back that up. If Antony does indeed get the job, he'll have to be confirmed by the Senate.
Now, of course, Donald Trump picks a new guy who's a MAGA zealot, and he comes out immediately and apparently takes away 1 million of Joe Biden's jobs. I thought they didn't want these revisions. And now his guy has the biggest revision in history because it's about getting rid of Joe Biden's numbers that are far superior to anything any Republican president could ever imagine.
The White House has now withdrawn its nomination for the new Bureau of Labor Statistics Commissioner.
President Donald Trump nominated E.J. Antoni in August for this position. Experts say the nomination was an attempt for the president to gain more control of the federal agency. The withdrawal comes after experts pushed back on the nomination, saying he was not right fit for the job.
Whether it was that his master didn't wear terrible, ill-fitting clothes,
Donald Trump's a style icon.
or that he didn't actually lose the 2020 election.
We have more than enough time to right the wrong of this fraudulent election result.
And that's kind of inert now, but that's really the best way to handle the whole thing, at least in a public relations way, because every time ICE tries to do the right thing and enforce the law, they get all of this criticism.
This is America, they seem to think. We're different. That failure of imagination is creating a complacency that might prove deadly.
Wife is not a criminal.
Donna, an Irish citizen, came to the U.S. when she was just 11 years old, a legal resident alien or green card carrier, but not a U.S. citizen.
It takes about 10, 15 years, and it's very expensive.
All was well, Jim says, until July in Ireland for a family funeral. On the way back at customs in Chicago, Donna was arrested.
You don't arrest 58-year-old grandmothers. It's just wrong. That haven't committed crimes. You just don't do that.
More than 30 days now spent behind bars at a county jail in Kentucky, the U.S. government attempting to deport her.
Do you think she could, in fact, get deported?
Oh, 100%. It's egregious that we have allowed a government to allow this to happen.
And ICE will just be responding, but they're trying to warp this whole mechanism to put the onus on ICE.
So we shave off 1 million jobs there. We get South Korea to pull 8,000 jobs here and there. Of course, this plays right into China's hand.
So now the creature stands astride his defiled kingdom.
We don't know how this battle ends, but we know that we will be riding in this battle, in this struggle to save democracy with a real man.
And that's the problem, I think.
Yeah, apparently people kind of look the other way, saying, oh, we need them, their special expertise. I don't know about the special expertise idea.
And we must ask ourselves, is it truly he that is the monster, or is it us?
Federal agents seen walking with their guns drawn is what families woke up to August 24th in this Austin apartment. A woman in her pajamas seen patted down on the deck.
Police are trying to break into our house.
Arminda Castellan is the property owner.
So when I came on Monday, I just see this door, they break this door.
She says 6 people, mostly fathers and husbands, were detained from here.
People were sleeping and they took guns.
Castellan says now some of her doors are broken.
There is nobody here anymore.
And her building is almost empty after the rest of the tenants fled in fear. Castellan says a mom and baby are still in this apartment trying to figure out next steps after the father was taken.
But no, seriously, he's the monster. It's, like, not even debatable. What an asshole.
Hell yeah! Send rats.
And I'm sure he's acting on Xi and Vladimir's orders. Because he works for them. And they didn't invite him to the little party this weekend. So he's got to show him that he should have been there. What's the best way to do that? Attack South Korea.
So I'm not sure what was happening here, but the reaction can't be, we're going to make it easier for people to bring in foreign workers. That can't be the reaction.
Americans so delusional to not see that. It is obvious.
No, and that's the key. Are they workers? You never, ever see rank and file American workers en masse going into South Korea or Japan or China to actually work in the factory. It never happens.
Everything is designed to show that Trump is amazing. And the only way to do that is to show that everybody else sucks. Because Donald Trump sucks. He sucks ass. You know whose? Vladimir Putin's. And moreover, Republicans know that. It's not about that. They don't care about anything.
So something's not being told and we need more clarity, but generally the employers have to take a responsibility to obey the law. And I know that the Wall Street Journal and a lot of the libertarian right are really aghast at this.
It seems like ICE is no longer just going after the worst of the worst. Look at those 300 deportations of Koreans at the battery plant. It seems like the deportation plan is expanding.
Well, I think if you're here illegally, you should be deported.
All of them?
Yeah. Are we a nation of borders or not? Are we a sovereign nation or not? You can't be a country that believes in the rule of law and then not follow the rule of law.
This was not a immigration operation where agents went into the premises, rounded up folks, and put them on buses.
Sorry, if you came here illegally, you do not deserve to be in the United States of America. So, yeah, I'm sorry. If you came here
what do you think,
illegally,
seriously
you should
now,
not be here.
What do you think would happen to this economy if we deport 15 million people?
Well, the Heritage Foundation found that if we did give a path to citizenship for all the illegal aliens, it could cost us trillions of dollars per year to the economy.
The employees worked for a variety of different companies that were on the site. It was not just the parent company, but also subcontractors.
That you cannot have this mass influx of illegal immigrants because it's going to drain the welfare state. It's going to drain our social safety net. So, yeah, I think inevitably you're going to have people who end up taking more from the system. They're going to end up taking benefits. Look at even Springfield, Ohio, or here in New York City as a case study. You have Eric Adams, who has previously been, a big sanctuary city proponent, saying that we're going broke here in the city because of mass migration. Or you look at Springfield, Ohio, that is massively taxed because of all the Haitian migrants that have come there. They're running out of resources. They've also had an issue with even traffic incidents because the individuals who are going there don't know how to they're not following the traffic laws there in the city. So, yeah, I think ultimately.
No compromise.
And then also, besides that point.
We're almost out of time.
No, but
you're
70%.
They've all got to go.
I think if you're here illegally, it's grounds for deportation.
Come on, buddy. Save something for your manifesto.
This is coming from the same guy that called up Georgia and said I needed 11,780 votes, which is one more than I need. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. One more than I have. Because, he believed it. Right.
They've all got to go.
Yeah.
You say.
Yep.
Lisa, thank you.
Hell, it's the exact same guy that said he actually did beat Joe Biden, got the most number of votes ever if it wasn't for the damn 3 million illegal votes that Joe Biden got in California. Right? Everybody's cheating, but he never cheats. Even though we catch him. And Republicans, whatever.
Governor Brian Kemp has praised this mega plan and its role in the Georgia economy.
We're going to make a decision as to where we go over the next day or two.
Well, that's the crime issue.
Threatening to go to war with both Venezuela and Chicago. And it's nice of him to have one abroad and one at home because now even soldiers without passports can participate.
Thanks, John. I want to ask about the benchmark revisions that came out. If you look at the revisions between March of 2024 and March of 2025, and you do a little math, it averages out to 73,000 jobs roughly per month added to the economy, less than what was thought. When can we expect the Trump administration, now that their policies are rolling out, for that average to increase?
Well, let me just say something about the revisions that came out this morning, and this was one of the biggest revisions in absolute terms in decades.
No, but seriously, a nutless monkey could do your job. Good. Thank you.
These jobs at this factory are from Joe Biden's jobs bill. We specifically wanted them to come back and make batteries here.
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
Player. Big dick player.
Swinging past your knees.
Big dick, baby.
Yep.
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
That's the factory they're attacking. Because of the crime. Oh, by the way, all these people were here legally. They were here on a temporary visa that does not allow them to be paid by an American company. So they come here for the 2 months their visa allows, work in the factory, and then get paid when they get back to South Korea by the South Korean company.
You have no idea the dragon you have awakened. You have no idea how determined we will be to save this civilization, to save the West, to save this republic.
I know it's hard for you to understand because none of you people have ever actually had a successful business that you didn't inherit from your father. And by the way, have somebody else run for you because, y'all's management ability is absurd. But in regular companies, they like to send their upper management to go open the new store, to go train the new factory, to set up the fucking assembly lines so they build the cars properly the way they want. It's not the right way, it's not the wrong way, it's the Hyundai way. And the only way you do that is by bringing in a bunch of executives. You fucking idiots. And anybody who doesn't realize that that's what they're doing here, we just don't really understand politics.
An organization that I helped turn into the Death Star that is accomplishing all the debates that you are reading about. I think you have to rehabilitate Christian nationalism. The largest deportation in history. George Floyd obviously was not about race. It was about destabilizing the Trump administration. Right. We put out, for instance, a 50-page paper designed for lawyers to know that the president has, the ability both along the border and elsewhere to maintain law and order with the military, and that's something that it's going to be important for him to remember and his lawyers to affirm. But we've given them the case for that. We blocked funding for Planned Parenthood. I want to be the person who crushes the deep state.
And the benchmark year, March 2024 to 2025, shows that the job growth was vastly weaker during the Biden administration than ever previously reported.
This is Politics 101. Prove that the other guy was lying about his stuff. And if you can't do that, just make up the numbers.
Between this revision and last year's, job growth was actually overstated by approximately 2 million jobs. And the Biden administration stood up here and vouched for that data and told you that data was real. And when President Trump calls into question the veracity of that data,
because you're never gonna come close to Joe Biden's job numbers, or any Democrat for that matter. Republicans know that. So they put in some guy.
Which is why the president took the monumental step to try and appoint and confirm new leadership at the BLM. Before he took the oath of office, and even now as president of the United States,
they appointed 6 of the 9 Supreme Court justices. They own the Senate. They own the House. But it's us that oppress them.
he was ridiculed for that. And this makes it very clear that President Trump inherited a much worse economy by the Biden administration than ever reported. And it also proves that the Federal Reserve is holding our monetary policy far too restrictive. Interest rates are too high. The Fed needs to cut the rate.
It's a shame that so much of America is the lowest common denominator. Because for those people, Donald Trump's #1, baby. And you know he likes being #1.
The president has said a year. Secretary Besson said maybe the fourth quarter. When can we expect these numbers to increase?
Well, first, we need accurate numbers. We need truthful and honest data.
Hell, maybe that's why I went after Tom Hanks. Can't have the West Pointers giving him an award. Because, you know, Donald Trump knows a winner when he sees it. He looks in the mirror every day.
Is going to leave a huge white.
So he knows a loser too. If it wasn't for the pettiness, there'd be no song at all.
I mean, that's an incredible story that you could pick up that he was a pervert.
It's gross. The guy's gross. Right with my wife. He's gross. The guy's gross. This was not, the deep nuance of Howard Lutnick. This guy's gross.
Right. So how come Bill Gates and all these other people could hang around him and not see what you saw? Or did they see it and ignore it? Or
no, they participated.
Right.
That's what his MO was, get a massage, get a massage. And what happened in that massage room, I assume was on video. This guy was the greatest blackmailer ever.
If it wasn't for the ridiculousness of it,
and see fat troops.
we wouldn't even know
It's completely unacceptable to see fat
that
generals
this man exists.
to the Pentagon. We also
Quick before they see it coming, time for a free
On the other hand, he'll be dead soon. So, we got that going for us.
Yeah, chilling. If Trump can indict a former FBI director,
y'all take it easy.
Anyone who has ever stood up to Trump has to worry about being thrown in jail. And I will fight that with every fiber of my being, or my name is not
Zachariah Lone Star Liberal.
Come at me, bro!
And check out my next video. I got a story to tell you about a motorcycle wreck. Just a bad day. But it should be entertaining. You know, much like watching the demise of America. Marching on to oblivion because, you know, everything is shit now. I'm Zachariah Lone Star Liberal. It's all about bringing Biden down. Because he can't even get it up. Y'all take it easy.
It's been a great show. We're sorry that it's through. Goodbye is such a sad word.